So after spending over $20,000 on courses, mentorships, and coaching programs at the age of 19, I'm going to let you all know in this video if all of that was a scam, was it worth it, was it the right investment, did I make the right choice? And I'm going to explain to you in this video everything that I experienced personally, what worked for me, what didn't work for me, and what you actually need to know before investing in a coaching program and whether or not you even should at the end of the day. I've came over here to Brooklyn, New York City. I'm at the WAP office right here. And we have a sick view on the top floor. I think that's the Brooklyn Bridge behind me. We got Manhattan over there in the background, and it's a really sick view. Now, for context, really, I got into the space about, a few years ago, more specifically around 1 to 2 years ago. And in that time, I've made a lot of progress. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of decisions that really fixed my reality or altered my reality into what it is now. Okay. And this was a combination of trying it myself, investing into people, investing into courses, coaches, mentorships, and everything, just to kind of see whether or not that would help me get to where I am or help me get to where I want to be. Because at the end of the day, we are just looking for the fastest path to hitting 6 figures a month running a consulting business. Like for me personally, at least, that is my, goal, right? And I've spent over $20,000 into my own learning to be able to understand, like, what are the processes, systems, and backends and the mental capacity needed to actually handle this. So what I want to do is I want to take you guys kind of on a journey on like what I first did in terms of investing into like my own mentors and then like what I actually did, how I found these guys, and what my experience was with them. So I want to start off when I was like maybe 16 or 17 years old. Okay, just a few years back. And obviously we all get I was in around like 10th, 11th grade. And obviously, like every kid, you want to search up how to make money online. Okay, I go ahead, I search it up. You come across Iman Gadzhi right now. We're in the WAP office, which Iman Gadzhi just bought, right? He's a co-owner of WAP, and it's literally on the floor below me. And I've come to the office to just check out, the same space that, they renovated. They've just bought some extra space. They're absolutely killing it in the info game. And obviously, he was one of the first people that I came down, okay? He was one of the first people that I obviously invested into in terms of wanting to buy his product. I almost bought it, right? I almost bought it, but I held off. I believe it was a $1,500 course at the time, but I didn't buy it, okay? So I obviously got started with, I went on Facebook. I went down that rabbit hole of trying to find people who are in, Facebook groups like, hey, make money online, do this, do that, learn a skill, okay? I go ahead, obviously, I find a guy who's charging $25 a month for, a new mentorship that he's launching on Facebook. And it would basically work as like you sell websites and you just kind of learn how to make money with that. You set up like a one-time setup fee and everything. And obviously you go ahead and you learn how to do that, learn how to make the website, learn how to make the automations, and then bam. Okay, so there's a guy who's basically charging $25 a month. He'll give you his referral code, and basically every single month the software, he gets affiliate on that. And yeah, I made that investment into him, and that's where I learned the bare bones, right? I kind of was starting off with some random niche, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just help, auto shop guys, rank higher on their websites. And obviously that was me learning that. I spent about a year. Obviously it's a very low ticket program, so you're not like held with that much, like there's not like a fire under your butt to kind of like make sure that you lock in and everything, because you're only spending $25 a month for that. So I never really made any progress with that, simply because like, yeah, the resources were there. There's a little bit of guidance, but it's like I just wasn't taking enough action just because I was like, just obviously like, I just wasn't locked in. Okay, and so time passes by and I start to realize that my skill set fell into somewhere else where I could actually get into more of like the info side of things. Like, hey, what is appointment setting? What is closing? What is high ticket sales, right? So I obviously went in that route. Obviously I started with like a content agency and everything. And I kind of started off with a content agency. I started off, learning how to do edits, learning how to, obviously make cool videos, because I had a creative side, right? I had a creative past and everything. And so from there, I eventually pivoted into understanding like, hey, here's how you get traffic. Because at that point, I've built up my own following for my own personal brand to over 200,000 followers. So I was like, okay, I know a thing or two about, getting views. So I learned that skill set. Now that you have the skill set of getting views, right? You now want to understand like, hey, how do I convert the views that I'm getting into money? Because that's the missing link. Because like, I'm sure like I come from a background of understanding like broke influencer syndrome to a max. All my friends were influencers, 300, 400,000 followers. They're making value content, whatever, but they're not making any money. They're making 2-3K a month. I was like, okay, there's something wrong with that. Then I start to understand like, hey, what is high ticket sales? Like, you make a product and you sell it. Okay, cool. It's just high ticket. It's priced at a couple $1,000s, and you go ahead and you sell it to your audience. Okay, no one was doing that. People they were providing value, but then school community started, and then the whole like low ticket rise, and obviously that happened, and it got cooked. Because obviously churn rates, people just weren't getting, like, school is good if you have a really, really big audience, but obviously you're dealing with churn rates. You can't really scale up, and there's just so many problems that come with that. Okay, and so obviously I figured out that school is obviously not the best option. Then I got to high ticket sales, where you learn the skill set of converting an audience into paying customers, right? That pay you $3,000, $4,000, all the way up to tens of thousands of dollars for a single product. And that's where I made my first big purchase, because I myself, I had a couple 100,000 followers at the time. I had friends who had a couple 100,000 followers at the time, but they just weren't making money. So I was like, okay, there's something that I have to figure out. And at the time, I had a few clients who obviously they needed help with converting their audience into like making money, because there's some guys who are fitness coaches, there's some guys who are offering BizOp. There are people who are offering services. They just didn't know how to price it. They didn't know how to position their offer. They didn't know how to sell it. They weren't getting any conversions, right? They just put their Calendly link in their bio and hope people that just booked in, and it was all people from like third world countries booking in and everything. So that was that. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna solve that, because like I know something that these guys just don't. I go ahead and do it myself, right? I'm doing it myself. And of course, I'm like, okay, I need to hire an appointment setter. Okay. So I go to Facebook. Like, this is me, like, not investing in any mentorships. Okay, I need to hire an appointment setters because YouTube told me to do so. Right. So I go on Facebook. I find a guy from India, I find a guy from Pakistan, and I hire him to be an appointment setter. Right. At the time, I was like, okay, this is cool. I'm making progress. I'm doing it myself. Right. I'm doing it myself. I'm outsourcing, because my client needs XYZ. He needs to handle the DMs. He needs to handle this. We need to make conversions to actually book in calls. So I went ahead and I invested into, I hired some dude from Pakistan. The guy had cooked English. The guy had no idea about our offer. The guy was not aligned with us. This guy was charging some random fees. And he's like, yeah, I charge base $500 a month. And I'm like, okay, cool, right? I just go with it, right? I just did it. I didn't have any guidance on it. And so I'm doing it myself. It's cool and all and everything, but I start to realize very heavily after month one, I'm training this guy up. Number one, I don't know how to train the guy up. Number two, the guy's not competent enough to pick up on the English language that we need for the appointment setting, right? So it was just cooked. The guy was just pitching everybody. He just didn't know how to build connection with the audience that we were trying to convert, right? All my clients and everything. Okay, like, why am I not good? Like, why is nothing happening? Either I can go and just give up and maybe hire another appointment setter from Facebook, from Pakistan randomly, right? Still not know the process. Or I could put my head down and actually figure out how to solve that problem. And so I took the latter route, and alhamdulillah, I'm so happy. I am so happy that I took that route, that I took the second route, which was putting my head down, understanding why this appointment setter wasn't converting into booked calls, why we weren't making any money. And at the time, my first mentor, that's when I came across him back in February. And it's crazy to think that this was only a few months ago, that all these skills just compounded. So I bought into my mentor. The reason why is because I was pitched at the point of deprivation that my appointment setter wasn't good enough. And I had a bottleneck that I had to fix. Okay, so I'm like, okay, you know what? I had my first bit of money in my bank account. I was like, I'm willing to break even just to understand the system, just understand the game. Right? Just understand the skill sets required. Because at the time, like, there was just no competency, right? And so I'm going to go there. And I went. And I made the investment. I remember it was a $10K investment for this first mentor. Okay? I made that investment. And I just got cold feet, like, the second day. I was like, shoot, is this the right plan? Like, I genuinely had cold feet until the onboarding call came in and everything. And the onboarding call came in. I got into the program. I already knew most of the stuff. It's just this one problem I was trying to fix. I knew how to get views. I just didn't know how to convert it. My appointment setter sucked. I didn't know why. I didn't know I had to do XYZ with an appointment setter. I need to get someone from the right places. I didn't know I had to use this structure and that structure. I didn't know these were the protocols used. And so that investment is what kind of just skyrocketed me in terms of skills. And so I learned in the program that, hey, You are not supposed to get a freaking appointment setter from a third world country. That's like cooked, right? You're not supposed to, right? You're supposed to get someone from the US or the UK, preferably UK, just because they have, there's more of an incentive for those guys, but it literally can be UK, US, right? Any first world country, can be even from Europe. I didn't know that, right? That's when I figured that out. I didn't buy the coaching program to get like the secrets of life. Like I just went to solve that one bottleneck that I had. And subhanAllah, like in that month, that is where I truly made the most improvement that I've ever made in terms of my competency, in terms of my skill set. The reason why is because I learned like A, I cannot just go and hire a setter from a third world country. And B, they gave me the connections to find a first world country setter that was hungry and had good language and had good English and understood our offer within like the first week. They locked in, right? And just like that, the next month, we hit a record month, right? We went from struggling with low four figures, just trying to like, landing a client here and there, low prices and everything. We just couldn't justify our authority. So the next month we were converting the views that we were getting into booked calls because I made that one switch, because I jumped the gun and I made that investment into the mentorship, right? This was a 10K mentorship. And that's the biggest problem that it solved, right? The appointment setting side, right? The side that basically fixes, like it's just one bottleneck. I fixed that one bottleneck, bam, we're doing consistent 5-figure months, okay? And so my experience with that is that, number one, you don't go to coaching for information. You don't go to coaching for information because at the end of the day, what you realize from this entire like point of my story is that I was doing it myself. I was hiring, YouTube told me hire an appointment setter, right? Okay, I was like, cool. There's a million YouTube videos on hire an appointment setter. They told me to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, so I went and did it. I was just doing it myself, right? I went in the program, okay, they said, we have appointment setters from XYZ place. We can just hook you up with one. Bam, we made a Discord group chat in 5 minutes. We literally got connected with some guy who was hungry, ready to make it happen, easily trainable, easy coachable. And bam, just like that, I was able to unlock, right, the key that would grow my business in the next month. Not in the next 10 months, but like literally next month, okay? And so that just skyrocketed things. And now because of that skill set, or because of the thing that I unlocked, which was stopping my business like from growing, I fixed it. Now I knew how to train someone. Now I trained someone really good, right? And that person moved on to the next offer, and now he's making literally 5 figures a month, right? The first appointment setter that I got from that connection, he didn't know a thing. I trained him up, he got good, and he unlocked so many opportunities for himself. And I'm so happy for that, right? Because I wouldn't see any of this happen if I didn't make that jump back in February with that 10K coaching program. And so you figure out all these bottlenecks. You figure out all these, like, you just figure out the main thing that you need to fix, and then bam, your business goes up because you know maybe one thing, but you don't know the other thing that's stopping you from growing, right? You fix that A+ problem, and then bam, just like that, your perspective of reality just like freaking goes up the roof. All your limiting beliefs are crushed. Imagine I was still back like hiring dudes from Facebook Marketplace. I didn't have a community. I didn't have the connections. I didn't have the implementation ready just like that in the first month. Bro, right now, I would not be here, right here, just like talking to you, yapping to you on this camera, like face to face. I genuinely would not be if I didn't make that investment. Now I'm connected with people now I'm connected from people who are doing 6-figure a month offers, right? And even 7-figure a month offers. Like it's just like that. I'm one person away from that connection. I'm one person away from getting the connection that I need for these offers. Let's say I need a closer, I need a setter. Bam, just like that, I can get you somebody. If I didn't make that jump to get the implementation straight up in the first month, in the first few days, solve the A+ problem and move on with my life and progress, because now I'm here just chilling. Like, who knew I'd be able to get access to this rooftop and, have the connections that I have right now? If I genuinely didn't make that investment, I would be lost. I would not have enough people in my circle, and my mind would, my limiting beliefs would keep me where I'm at. I wouldn't unlock a new ceiling being, not having the access, right? And so it's all about access, and it's all about implementation. Information is like, bro, I can get information from YouTube. You can get information from YouTube. Anything. You can learn how to code from YouTube. You can learn how to do this. You can learn how to do that. If you search for a tutorial for literally anything on YouTube, it's there. It's literally there. So like, genuinely, it's not the information that's stopping you. It's the implementation. Because you probably know your bottleneck is X, Y, and Z. Or maybe you don't know. But you just can't solve it fast enough. You can't get the frameworks fast enough. You can't get the implementation of what you need to do specifically for your situation fast enough. And that is the issue. That is simply your issue. And that's why I'm telling you, like, straight up, If you view it as a scam, mentally, you will always view it as a scam. And you will never grow. You're never going to hit that ceiling. And I wouldn't be here talking to you. All these things. But you're here because you want to understand, like, hey, is it a scam? It's a scam if you make it a scam. But if you go in and use all the resources and connections you have to implement, and fix the problem that you've been trying to fix your entire life, right? That's stopping your business from growing. That's stopping you from like breaking your limiting beliefs of what's in your head. Like, oh my goodness, I can't charge enough for a product. Oh my goodness, I don't have XYZ. Like, I can't get a sales team, right? I can't get a closer. I can't get a setter. I can't, I can't get more views. I can't make more money. It's because you have a problem that just needs to be implemented ASAP. And you just need to focus on that. All the little other things. Oh, my landing page design, the little keyword on the top. You have no lead flow. You have no conversions. Like, you have to focus on your A+ problem, implement that, and move on with your life. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck. You're genuinely going to be stuck where you're at. That's the biggest thing. I'm only telling you this right here at 19 years old, right? Just a year ago, I genuinely didn't know what the hell I was doing. But now I have the skill sets. Now I've gotten competency. Now I can tell you, I can sit down face to face, tell you of my experiences because I went through them, because I went and I implemented, right? Like, I want to be able to sit down here and just make this video out of pure thin air. If I never went through this experience of hiring this setter who was bad, I didn't know what the issue was. So I went and I bought into a mentorship, 10K, and I invested. I figured out my A+ problem. I got the connections, I implemented, and now I'm here because of that, because I fixed that one problem. And trust me, you don't have a lot of problems. You just need to fix the one problem that's stopping you. Whether it's lead flow, whether it's, converting your leads, right? Converting your followers. Because I come from a background of we know how to get views, but we don't know how to convert. That was my background. That's just my friend circle. I can tell you there's people right now in my friend circle, in my friend circle, who are still broke. They're still making like 2-3K a month, maybe $500 a month. And they have hundreds of thousands of followers because they just didn't go and implement. They didn't put their balls to the wall, and they didn't go and implement. They didn't actually have skin in the game. You need to have skin in the game to actually see the reality of things. That's the best way. You can't get spoon-fed. You can't be a trust fund baby with this kind of stuff. You have to go through that endurance of pain. Okay, you have pain. How do I solve it? You either pay with time or you pay with money. And I did the easy part, and I paid with money. And I got my problem fixed in the first week, right? I could have paid with time, but I wouldn't be here telling you this video. Everything right here. I would not be here on the top floor of this office, right? With the connections that I have, with the skill sets that I have, with the competency that I have, if I just paid with time, right? I'd probably still be here like hiring Pakistani setters, right? Because I didn't know a thing, right? I didn't know the frameworks. I didn't know how to understand a buyer's journey. I didn't know why people buy from being a cold lead to a warm lead to booking in a call, then closing for a couple $1,000s. I just didn't know that. That was my issue. Like, if I went and I took my time, like, yeah, that's cool, but it's like, bro, I'd be cooked, right? So, moral of the story is, you're literally either going to pay with time or you're going to pay with money. You make the choice. You make the decision. If you view it as a scam, you'll view it as a scam, and you're going to stay where you're at, right? You need to get that mentality out of your head, because you need to get that out of your head. You can't depend on a scarcity mindset. You have to understand, like, once you go to places like this, once you get access to people who are doing 6-7 figures a month, right? 6-7 figures a month, like, bro, once you get access to those people, your brain just opens a new level. You're like, okay, he's doing this. He's just like a normal person, but he's just doing 1, 2, and 3, right? He implemented faster. He paid with money. He has access to the right people, and now he's scaled up to a certain point. That's it. But like, you won't know that until you experience it, right? That's the biggest thing, right? And then obviously, after my 10K mentorship, I connected with more people who did like more done-for-you services, and they showed me certain things that I just didn't know, such as management, such as hiring the right talent, how to put systems in place to kind of speed up the process in the first 1 to 2 weeks. How can I organize my fulfillment? How can I, structure up everything? Well, I just figured it out faster than you, and here I am now. That's the biggest thing. Like, that's why you are where you are right now. That's why I'm here where I'm here right now. So, yeah, implementation. You don't pay for knowledge. You just figure out the knowledge there. Like, bro, there's a million free courses, right? I'll drop the entire free course that I have. Like, I'll drop all the knowledge that I have right now on YouTube. You can figure out what to do with it. But until you go and, make your first bit. But once you have that new problem, you're going to come to me for implementation, right? That's the mentality. That's exactly how it's going to be, right? A new problem is going to arise. You need more personalization. You need more specific help. You'll come to me, right? And that's where you pay. And you already trusted me because I gave you all the info beforehand for free, right? So it's just all limiting beliefs, man. That's the biggest thing, right? I want to be here at 19 years old, right? There's 30-year-olds who don't have this level of insight, who don't have this level of information. They don't have this level of access. There's freaking, 15, 16-year-olds with crazy connections, and they're able to pull in, 6-figure months simply because of the access, simply because they paid with money and not time. And so once you realize that, you're genuinely I don't know what to tell you. You have to take that first step. You need skin in the game. That's all. And that takes me to where I am now. Now I'm running my own offer. Now I have sales teams that are performing exceptionally well. It's written for me to I just need to focus on the inputs of what a person at the certain goal amount that I want to make, right? What is that person focusing on, right? If I want to be a 100K a month offer owner, what are the things that he's working on every single day? He's very high leverage. He's focusing on being the face of the business. His fulfillment is automated, right? He's dialed in fulfillment. He has great results, right? At the end of the day, yes, number one, the most important thing is for me is results over everything. Because right now I'm lining clients with literally I have no content, right? I'm getting content out now, but I have barely any content, barely any views. But because of how good my product is, the referrals are working. The referrals are coming by themselves, right? I've had clients, I've just onboarded a client last week, right? For a 5K offer where he was just burnt out by those Miami guys on Instagram. He was burnt out by those growth operators, right? They just bought a nice car. They show on the IG, they run webinars, all that cool stuff, but they're just not getting enough implementation done with them, right? They're not responding quickly on time. Their fulfillment sucks, right? They're not making any progress. And I was just telling him, bro, if we just started this entire time, you've known me for 6 months, right? In these 6 months, you haven't done any action. You told me you started with that guy because, you saw he's legit and he's cool and he has a nice, he's making 100K a month. You go to him, you work with him, you haven't got started with a single thing. And then he started with me 3 days ago. He just landed his first high ticket client in the second day, right? He just closed a 2K deal literally the day after. It took him 6 months to do that, right? So you either, this was a living representation of you either pay with time or you pay with money. He just saw results. And now he has 2 sales calls today. He has more coming out. He has the framework. He has the guidance. He just made his VSL. Now his clients are going to convert from cold leads to warm leads. Now they're going to close easier on the call. I gave him the appointment setting frameworks because now he knows what to do. He needs to build rapport. Then he needs to understand their goal, specific motivation behind the goal. What's their why, right? What's holding them back? Creating urgency, then sending the booking link, then closing them on the call, right? He got access to this in the first day. Because you either pay with time, figuring out this entire framework that I'm just telling you, or you pay with money and you get it right there, and then you progress faster than anyone else. And this is how you see people change their life around 6 to 12 months. Genuinely, this is how you see it. It's because they do this. All of them do this. If there's a single one who just does it themselves, find me someone who's done it themselves, no connections, nothing, and they only paid with time. They've just done it themselves, trial and error, and they've made that much progress in 12 months. I can tell you, there's no one. Bro, you can make more progress in a week than you can in a year, in multiple years. And I'm living proof of that. Because I went and I put my balls to the wall, and I knew that every single month there was a monthly payment of $2K that I had to make that payment. I had to make the money back. Otherwise, I'd be cooked. It was a race against time, right? I had no choice. I had to implement. I had to use my connections fast, right? I had to use my resources fast, right? If you're doing it by yourself, there's nothing pushing you like that. If you're doing it by yourself, you can take your sweet time with implementing. You won't know. You'll be confused. You don't know what exactly to use. And so this is just for that person who just is always skeptical. You can't move around with a skeptical mindset. You'll be cooked, bro. You're done for life. Genuinely, if you move around with a skeptical mindset, just go and work like a 9 to 5. Just work a job, right? Have someone handle all that. that for you, right? Have someone handle all that thinking for you, because it seems like you don't want to think, you don't want to implement, you don't want to try new things, you don't want to be a problem solver. Then this isn't for you, right? Some people just aren't meant to handle business. That's okay. That's reality. That's why like, everyone here is working a corporate job, right? But the ones who run businesses, they run business because they have such a, right? They can tolerate stress. Like, bro, stress doesn't affect them. They love stress. They love understanding like, hey, there's a new problem to solve. I want to solve it, right? Hopefully my mic isn't cooked by now. But they understand like there's a new problem to solve and I want to solve that, right? You have to be excited for these things. You want to tackle the A+ problem. You want to focus on leverage tasks every single day. You want to focus on building the best team, the best product ever in a world where everyone is just like, you know, freaking renting out Lambos, renting out expensive cars. And it's just, you know, it's getting a bad rep. But that's fine, because eventually it's going to move to a time where people are not going to, well, we're already in a time where people are seeing past all the rentals. They're seeing past all the rented houses, all the Miami penthouses and everything. And now they're going to someone that they trust. They go based off of authority. They all go based off of value. They go based off of connection, experience, and case studies and results. People are looking to that, the smart buyers, right? Of course you can go and like just you know, show a Lambo in your content, get leads, but people can see past that. I'll give you an example. Of course, there's guys like Brez Scales, for example. How many client interviews does this guy have? He has like one. All he does is lifestyle content. Eventually, people are going to see past that. And they're going to want to go to the guy with the best results. At least sophisticated buyers in my space, right? B2C, you can always just show a Lambo and like have no testimonial and just sell people, right? Because it's all emotional based buying. But for me, it's like I have 4 client interviews that are about to come out. I'm filming one later today. And I know that's going to be something that works for me in the future, where I don't have to sell the person anymore based off of like, yo, yeah, buy this. They'll just watch the video and be like, yep, this is the guy to work with, right? That's how confident I am. I'm going to let that do the heavy lifting for me. I'm not worried about, you know, trying to figure out to sell to a certain person, because I don't need that person at the end of the day. I have the results. You come to me and I'll tell you, listen, all these people got results. You can, like, you figure out what to do. Like, you can either take the same framework that I gave these guys and implement it, or you don't, right? It's on you, because all these guys got the results that they have, right? So at the end of the day, going back to the whole idea of this video is the mentorship stuff, right? Investing into yourself. For the smart guy who's made it all the way down to, like, if you made it all the way down to this point of the video, genuinely just take risks. That's all I can tell you. Of course, yes, you're gonna have an ignorant tax where you realize like, hey, I've had a few investments that weren't worth it. For example, I can tell you a couple $1,000s I invested into some training. It wasn't that much, right? I didn't get that much implementation. I learned like 1 or 2 things, but it's like I realized like, bro, I'm low-key getting scammed. I'm not getting scammed, but I could just do this myself. I didn't need these guys to do it for me. That's one thing I did realize. However, the bulk of my experience with just, you know, getting into the mentorships, investing in myself is that you understand what works and what doesn't. And now I can go and just tell people that information. I can go and tell people what to implement that actually works. Like, I can go and tell my clients, hey, you don't need to spend 2 to 3 weeks creating a VSL and then launching. Like, no, just launch, get leads through the door. You can figure it out as you go, how to convert the leads, and you can do your VSL less, because that'll take you the most amount of time. I want you to get quick results, and I want my fulfillment to be as dialed as possible. So I'm going to do what actually matters most, getting leads and converting them and closing them. So you can get a quick win in the first week of working with me. And then you can focus on the tasks that take like 2-3 weeks down the line, right? After 2 weeks, after you got on the leads, after you got on the quick wins, right? I can tell you all these things based off of what worked and what didn't work in the mentorships that I bought, right? So, yeah. This is a sick place, man. Definitely, like, I think the city life is something that everyone should go through, just to get an understanding of like how, like, you understand like how small you are. Because I come from the suburbs. Like, I flew all the way from Tampa. Here I'm in New York City. Everything is moving quick, right? You can't afford to lose yourself. So that's something that's sick, man. Like, being here, it just makes you want to perform at your highest level. It makes you realize that you're nothing. It makes you realize that people doing like, if you're in business, for example, people doing like a couple $100K a month, that's nothing. That's really nothing. You meet the guys who are doing 6 figures a month in sales, and they're like, bro, that's literally nothing. Like, I'm talking to, like, for example, I was talking with one of my guys. He's telling me, because he knows the operators, he knows the operators for Alex Eubank's offer. Alex is making like 200, 300K a month, maybe 400K a month at his highest. He has 2 million followers. That's not much. Like, they're crapping on him making that much amount of money, because it goes to show that, like, the standards, your standards just raised, and you're worried about making 10, 20, 30K a month. Like, bro, that's nothing. So your standards automatically raise. Going to these circles, investing in yourself, understanding what works and what doesn't. And if you're not ready to take that risk, of course, make calculated risks. Make calculated. I'm not telling you to go and, if you have to freaking pay rent and you just can't do it, then obviously save up money. But take calculated risks, because that will take you a very, very, very long way. And you'll make so much progress in literally a few months than you would in a few years. And take that from me, as someone who's 19. And I've seen basically every corner of the info space at this point. You know, I've had access to individuals like these over here in New York City, where they're dealing with offers that are doing 4 or 5 mil a month, right? It's nothing. You're just a tiny dot. It's not that big of a deal. Like, once you open your brain up to this level, and once you bite the bullet and take the first shot at taking that risk, everything else is just tawakkul, qadr of Allah. Yani, like, you're just going to, like, it's just all going to play a part. You just have to take action and trust in God. That's all you need to do. And I think I'm going to leave you guys with that, because that is the biggest lesson I've learned so far, right? Take action. Take that first step. I don't care whether it's a $50 mentorship or $1 million mentorship. It doesn't matter, right? Take that first step. Get some implementation through the door and get results fast, so you can move up fast, because this place is brutal, right? The business world, the info world, right? They leave people behind. If you do not progress fast enough, you will be left behind. That's all I can say. So you have to move with urgency, right? And if you can't build that bulletproof mentality, then business is not cut for you. If you can develop that, be my guest, you know, that's really great. It's good for you. But if you're not willing to take that risk, if you're not willing to see progress and you don't want to, then this game of business is just not cut for you. So put your trust in God, make that next step happen, take action. I'll see you guys in the next one.